I sent that out just to kind of give you an overview of what you can.
Can we pass some of those out to?
Yeah.
Would that be all right?
Oh, I have actually.
That's what I figured. That way, everybody kind of
I don't have copies for everyone.
No, but maybe they can share.
I'm just
with
gonna
you
grab
about it,
one.
if that's okay. Put it on the screen.
Yep.
Do you want one?
Sorry.
So again, what that just represents is the things that you have, like what you've been working on probably long before I got here. And some of the thoughts that I put together in terms of things we need to start with. And part of what also needs to do here will help guide what we as staff and what we as a city will accomplish. So I put together just real quick, part of this PowerPoint, but also guides the goals as well.
I have this in case you need it.
Okay.
For whatever reason, if residents here need to hear you a little bit better, that's there for you.
I'll try to speak up.
No problem. And I'm going to shut these doors.
Yeah.
You want these on or off?
Yeah. Now you see how it sounds from the peanut now. Yeah. Again, there are some heavier curves.
Just water in the refrigerator as well. Thank you.
How do I advance this?
I know, I mean, geez, you make us feel so important there.
You're not everybody. So why are we goal setting? What's the importance of goal setting? This effectively establishes, determines the priorities, focus, and vision for the community, for what we have as a vision that hopefully will build consensus that will give me and staff direction as we put together a budget for you to consider. And organize ourselves to be able to better provide services that residents want, and put together projects that citizens feel we need, you feel we need. So we're not spending money in a haphazard way. And in the end, cities that do goal setting generally are more prepared to spend money in a way that the residents look at it and say, this makes sense. So we're trying to give ourselves a set of goals and objectives, spend money, and use the resources we have in a way that makes people feel that government is serving them in the best possible way. Tonight, we're going to discuss the important elements that will make Port Richey a great place to live, work, and play. We're going to discuss where we're at as a city and organization, identify what we're doing well as a city and organization, identify what we work on. We're going to discuss what opportunities exist for the city of Port Richey, and finally, we're going to begin discussion. And we're going to do it in a fun way, but they're ground rules. We all must abide by this, right? So focus on the big picture. Don't get lost in the weeds. At least not tonight. We may get lost in the weeds in the next session, but tonight, big ideas. Okay? Share ideas. If you walk out of here saying, there's 5 things I didn't say, then it wasn't successful. So tonight's tonight to start getting things out. We can get them on a piece of paper so we can discuss about what's going on and what we can do, and start planning for the future. Listen with an open mind. And that's usually very hard for me because I'm a control freak. So, but it's true. But we have to keep an open mind, and I think that kind of goes with assume good intent. So when we're talking about ideas, it may be the best idea you've ever come up with, but for other people may think, I don't know if I really buy into this idea. Don't take it personally, right? Go ahead and put it out there and let's discuss. And what we might find comes out of it is even a better idea. Because the diversity of thought leads us to better decisions later on. Be respectful, and let's seek consensus. And understand that the end result might be, 100 goals that top line, but it may be 15 goals that the 5 of you come together and say, this is what we build a community with. That's success. We can all agree that those are our ground rules for today and for next week. Is there any other ground rules you want to throw out there? Because again, I'm the control freak when I put those together. Very good. Okay. Well, let's jump right into it. Shall we? Shall we start looking to the future? So our first question tonight. So you have a piece of paper. Okay. You provide the paper in the middle with pens. You're going to use something for those. So the first question that I want you to think about is for Port Richey to be the best place for residents to live, businesses to thrive, guests to visit. The city must what? I want you to take the next 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, and come up with as many things to complete that sentence as you can. Yeah. Well, right now, just for yourself, because we're going to talk about it when we're done. Go.
Want me to set a timer? Want me to set a timer?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, yeah.
There you go.
Water, fruit.
There it is.
Okay. Still do.
That one's not mine.
I know, but the best we need markers at parks.
Does that not work either?
I don't know yet. We'll see. Seems to work.
Okay, good.
You might want to go find one.
I'll take care of that.
You may
Safe to
go
say
on.
throw this one away?
Put that in the bucket so we can
Surplus.
surplus that later.
I got dry erase markers.
That'll work.
Yeah, color.
That happened to all those pastel ones that I ever
They're in my office. Hold on.
That works.
Yeah.
Very colorful. I did tell you there was work to do. All right. Like they told the council member with there, we got don't joke about the comprehensive plan. So, I was joking about the the universal sign of I'm done is put your attention. Okay? The universal sign of I'm done is put your attention. My turn.
got that hint.
Does he have to keep writing our? Sorry.
Nope, okay, who wants to go first? Then we don't have to like say all of them, just give us one.
I'll think the projects that we have in place already. We have a history of dropping projects in the middle of that.
Improve the infrastructure. Sewer, water, road, drainage, not necessarily that one, et cetera, et cetera. I had maintain on that, so maybe improve / maintain.
Listen and provide feedback to.
I had to perform more community outreach. Trying to do the thing.
And increase community involvement. So,
Let's just not worry about where I got it from.
I had encouraged residents that bring ideas to manage and businesses to bring ideas forward.
So do you want to cover, take that within that there?
Encourage residents to bring ideas to management, or residents and businesses to bring ideas to the city.
just listen. I would increase community feedback, increase community involvement, feedback involvement. Not only it gives people this flash up there. No, feedback, want to participate, right?
That's right.
Yep.
And you had said something before he said it, I just want to make sure I captured it.
I said perform more community outreach, so from the state council members to the community.
In that regard, I got partnered with residents and business. In other words, the city, we need to build a partnership between the city, the residents, and business to achieve our common goals. Once we define how do we, get community involvement to basically achieve our goals. And are the right things that people want to work for. Dream big. Starting words, aim big, aim listen, finish.
I had be more agile and continuously change and adapt.
What adapt?
Okay. Be more agile and continuously change and adapt.
So on the business part, I actually have to work with businesses to establish a way to have perhaps business goals set for the community that a majority can agree on. I'm working the businesses work together to have business goals, you know, for the future, like what their goals are. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe have like a meeting or something that they can come to, for them to maybe voice their opinions.
Your sentence up there says, to be the best place for residents to live, we must have the best services for our residents. Oh, good, yeah. Police and fire, but utilities support staff. I mean, this goes from as soon as you walk into the front door here to that vehicle, that city vehicle pulling out, pulling in front of a resident's home and someone stepping out. That's service.
And along that same line, increase productivity and be efficient.
For the organization. For the organization, yeah, city government.
What was that?
Be financially responsible.
Yeah, I'd stay financially strong.
What was the same again? I'm sorry.
That's
What is he turning in?
So I had to be efficient and increase productivity. Stay financially strong.
Financially strong.
Your statement talks to residents, but we have a business community too. Do we want to amend the statement to reflect businesses?
Business, right?
To the, okay. To let business through, okay.
And last night I was work closely with surrounding entities, be it county government, other cities, legislation. Legislators.
We could also address the waterfront.
Well, that's complete projects in place. That could be, all projects in place, yeah. Could be.
We don't have a project yet.
Maybe work on a citywide type cleanup plan that the citizens could get involved in to help preserve Port Richey.
What, actually, that's been one, was standing out. No, but, can't say. Because we talked about, yes, the business city on it, we stand out, we need to be something special. Not just a stop for gas on 19, but a destination.
On that note, I also read to try to increase tourism to Port Richey.
Our tourism here.
What are you touring? Beautiful, like, there's so many things here. There's that, the salt springs, there's. What the road in Port Richey?
Not till we annex it.
Think maybe not specific goals or objectives yet, just ideas. What is, one of the things we want to kind of do with this exercise is establish a model. This is what we want to be, right? And so as you go through this, you know, you're saying, you know, we want to stand out and be special, right? We're going to talk about that later. You know, we want to be financially strong, be efficient, and increase productivity. How about dream big?
Nice.
That it?
All
of your ideas?
That's a good start.
Yeah, that's-
We get all that done, we'd be in good shape.
Lot of good things on that.
Okay, so let's kind of go with this, so we know what we're talking about. So follow through, complete projects we have in place. You all understand what that means? No questions there? Improve / maintain infrastructure, water, sewer, storm, roads, all that.
Canals, all the water, all those.
No problems there? Good. Listen to and provide feedback. Now, there's a lot here. I probably easily could have just broke these all out separately, but I've already started kind of trying to get them into buckets of what we want to do here. But listen to and provide feedback, increase community feedback, encourage residents and businesses to bring ideas forward, involve the community, more outreach, partner between residents and businesses. Pretty good. Okay. Dream big. You know what that means, right?
Get out the box.
More agile, adapt and change. Work with businesses to have them to work together to establish goals. No questions on that? We want to grow. Provide the best services for the residents and the businesses. Be efficient and increase productivity. Be financially strong and work with other surrounding entities and levels of government. Address waterfront. Work on citizen-wide cleanup plan. Stand out to be special. Improve tourism opportunities and the city to be easy to do business with. Pretty good? No. I've got tape.
You want tape?
Do you have tape?
I can get you tape. Do you want tape or do you? Oh, I
Just got each one of these tape.
And that's the water?
No, I have tape. It's mostly.
Well, what?
She was more efficient than I thought. She got. Okay.
Modern technology.
Yeah, it is amazing. After you back to my day, you had to look the back of that. You got the sticky kind.
What is it?
This feels. Good job.
What is that?
Okay, so now, kind of based upon this. You all see that little bit? Here's it. Nope, that's it. We don't have enough space. Now let's do this. So now, hopefully y'all can see that. Okay, so with that being said, next slide.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, next slide. Based upon these answers to the previous question, what is the city of Port Richey doing to meet those standards? It should be, what is Port Richey doing well to meet those standards? So what are we doing good? So you kind of laid out these things that you believe are important for us to provide the best services to our residents and thriving place for businesses and a great place for people to visit. What are we doing right now, from your perspective, well, to achieve that model that they're trying very hard? So we say they, you mean
The employees. Since that support staff.
I think that's probably our strongest suit. I mean, we utility guys,
I mean, we
fire
doing what
police
we
guys,
want.
I mean, whenever I came in here prior to being council person, know, everybody has always been respectful. So I think staff is our strongest, attribute. That's good comment. Let's face it, they do a lot with not a lot of stuff.
What else we do about it? Well, I know that we've made significant effort to improve communications, us with the town halls. I know I personally make an effort to return every phone call, every email. So I know, you know, from my perspective, I think we're doing some good things in communication. We're looking at obviously updating the website, get some more information out there. So that stuff has been improving, which is good.
But I don't think we're doing well yet.
Not well,
As a city.
yeah, not well, but we're starting to do some right things.
Moving in the right direction.
Yeah. On the right track.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, yeah. Most of this problem identification, you can know what the problem is and you can address it. I think our budget is good. Financially strong is was one of the goals.
What does that mean? We're financially strong. Let me ask you a different question. When you say we're financially strong, is it that financially we're doing the things that we need to do as a city, kind of at a basic level, but there's things that can be done that we're not doing, or is it that we're doing everything that you think a city should be doing within the budget?
I think our biggest thing with the budget is we have to give our staff the tools to work with because they in turn work for us with those tools. I think we've been pretty good at giving them that, you know, police card, new fire engine, etc. Utilities and getting their things that they've been asking. So I think we've been good in that respect. And we're not in the red. Right? So, I mean, that's positive. A lot of cities aren't running in the red and not running well. So,
That share by everyone, you think that financially we're strong?
So that's, and when I put that goal down, I said stay financially strong because there's, obviously we're not in the red. We've got 30% reserve, so we're in a good spot. But there's a lot of stuff we're not doing as well. So it's really relative depending on where we're at. So as we continue to do things and that we need to maintain that financially strong position because if we do too much, then we don't, you know, we go the opposite way. So we gotta, as we give more, we need to bring in more to accommodate that. So we need to stay in a good position. But that, yeah, currently a good position, but overall there's, you know, we could go into a very financially unstrong position very quickly. So.
yeah, it's got to be balanced. And there are certainly lots of things people can point to, infrastructure one of them, maybe. But essentially, we need to ensure that we capture all the revenue opportunities that are there, not let things slip through. That's being financially strong. And potentially finding, and there again, get there, probably to do that, but potentially revenue opportunities that we need to address. And look for to be able to address all these needs because at some point in time, all this comes to it. All this stuff you got to pay the piper.
There's been a lot of neglect to attribute to the financially strong position we're in.
But what we're doing now, we're basically keeping our head above water. We're strong with what we're doing, but I think there's bigger opportunities, potential, you know, big cost structure.
but the question was, what are we doing well?
Yes.
I think we need to, with your, I mean, we're getting off track by what we're not doing well, what we need to improve, but the question was, what are we doing well, so.
At this point in time, we are finished.
Right. We're achieving what we can with the funds we have. So we are being financially responsible to ensure we're not overspending to that degree.
I just wanted to make sure that we all were talking the same thing, so we don't get later on down the road and go back and we have different, the next question, I guess, have different opinions. What else are we doing well?
We're putting people in key positions to set ourselves up for success.
That's good.
Very good. Friends at the meeting.
Anyone come to mind?
Actually.
Well, we have continuity and we have a new city manager. So with that, I think that's a very strong effort. Good management structure.
As I sit here and I keep in my mind going through, Port Richey, we are what we are now because of the staff that we have on board putting Port Richey on the map. As we have problems, we turn to the city staff and say, hey, we got this issue, boom, with limited funds, with sometimes hands tied, but the job is completed one way or another. And again, the whole time, what is the city of Port Richey doing to meet these standards? And I keep reflecting back into the purpose, the personnel, the employees of the city of Port Richey. I think without their dedication and more so their loyalty to the city and the residents, we would have what we have now.
In any job, in any business, your staff, if you don't have good staff, you're gonna flounder, you're gonna go down. So that is the shining star. Everything else is great, but that's the meat and potatoes.
And our employees are shining star.
Somebody's gonna do the work.
Take any comments from the audience or not?
I may be running the goal setting at one meeting.
Sure.
I'll leave this up here for you guys if any residents want to make comments.
Thank you.
Can we also throw that? Somebody can sign it on?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is an informal meeting, so.
I just wanted to know, we are financially strong. Does that mean, it doesn't mean the same to me as being financially responsible to the citizens. Looking at stuff that, is grandiose, that may not be good for all the citizens in all the citizens of the city. So financially strong to me is making sure we got a lot of money in our bank account so we can buy anything we want. I want to see we have enough money in the bank account to do the services and do everything that the people want. When we come up like you were here, but when we put in a park, we put in a boardwalk not a boardwalk, but a pier out in the park out here. What's the big park?
Waterfront Park.
Yeah, we put a park, we put a pier out there. Never got used. It was in 2 feet of water, so you couldn't fish off of it. But at that time, they thought, boy, this is a great idea. Let's put a $200,000 pier in so people can walk out there and fish.
I think to answer your question, and that's why I had pushed the councilwoman on that, to make sure that we were all talking the same thing. And it's not necessarily what you just said they're talking about. What they're saying is that if you look at the way we're spending the money, we're doing it in a way today that keeps, it's within the financial goals of the city. So within their ability to spend money and purchase things, we're doing a good job. Not necessarily getting into the quality or subjectiveness of what the expenditures are. We're not in the red. What else are we doing well?
I think that's why we're having this meeting, because I think we're pretty much at the end of that question. Sorry, was that too bold?
No, I love it.
I was happy we got almost all the way down to paper.
You were stretching.
Well, I think, as we go through this process, there will be other things, right? That we kind of point back to, the question itself is a hard question because it does imply a certain amount of knowledge about everything what we're doing, and be able to break it down and say, I know these things. And it's kind of like, the struggle that I have coming in new, there's a lot to learn, right?
Yep.
And so there's things that I don't know about that probably we're not doing well, but we just haven't uncovered those yet. So it's a difficult question. But even more difficult is the next question. What is the city doing that doesn't meet those standards? So what aren't we doing well?
Communication has always been my biggest thing with the city, is the lack of communication. I get, because of,
And I'm sorry, you mean with the residents or?
with the residents. Where I live, I get the Newport Richie little flyer. And everybody says, well, you can get it online, you can get it on the website. That's true. But I don't, as a full-time working person, I don't go on the website to see what Port Richey is doing. But if it comes in the mail, I sit down and I look at it and I read it. And it's got stuff that I need. I don't live in Newport Richey, but it's got information in there that's handy to residents, and it's got stuff is filler, but we need to hit. There's many different ways to communicate, and the web, although the web is wonderful, it's not the only way to communicate with our residents. So I think communication is lacking greatly with residents.
The best one.
It's number one.
Yeah.
Or once you improve that, a lot of the other things will fall into place. Not 100%, but a lot of that filters into the communication.
Communication is key. For sure.
About prioritization of projects or just in general. Get the right priority on the event. Whether it be infrastructure or,
Follow through?
follow through and follow up. And that dovetails back into communication.
Everything goes into communication.
Communication is the hub of what we do.
Yep.
I stole that. I don't know where it came from myself.
We don't complete anything.
Hold on to that thought.
I can't name one thing that we've, since I've been coming to these meetings every other week for 5 years, that we have completed. We've started a lot of stuff, but we've not completed one thing that I can think of.
I think perhaps on the dream big, there's not in the past, obviously this is new, but in the past, a lot of people who have been in the seats, they haven't dreamt big. They haven't seen what Port Richey could be and the potential that's here in the city.
Long-term vision.
Yeah.
Settled, I think is a good way to put it. I don't think we do a very good job of, when it comes time to legislate, we've got a lot of, obviously, code, which we're looking at addressing that or whatever, but we don't do well with legislation. Be vague as possible.
Current,
You know, when we
Issues.
yeah, the laws and stuff that we have in place, you know,
we don't,
they don't keep up with them. There's, like, you know, the shape of our code is, you know, it's been there a long time, and it doesn't adapt very well. And then as we start to talk about things, I don't know if we do a good job of being complete in that process. And it's difficult, obviously, because,
you know, it's very part-time and we don't have, you know, we don't got,
say, a legal assistant on board is writing this stuff out, so.
I think that's partly our fault.
We haven't leveraged our
Because-
committees.
that too, yeah.
Well, I mean, the fence
Campaigning
code,
for ourselves, yes, as the mayor was saying, I agree, we're not walking our own forms out there. We need to have a larger voice, maybe beat under a chest harder, scream louder, but get the recognition, get some recognition
For the community,
for our city.
What we're doing in our city. What we've accomplished,
well,
or accomplishing.
name something.
But what if,
Exactly.
what if we were able to, with the waterfront, bring in native fauna and things like that would be something we could.
Well, that's the future, but what have we done in the past?
We've got a few things going on, right? We're doing.
Yeah, but the thing is, what we're not, we can't give ourselves recognition if we haven't done anything.
But we need to be aware that when we do have these things complete, to be able to stand up and get community recognition. Hey, we've done a great job here. I mean, we have done stuff. We've done community cleanup. The guys did a great job after the hurricane. They went after it and got it done. So it's not all negative. There are positive aspects.
You're going back to that.
Yeah.
Communication.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go circle back.
Right.
Because you kind of switched gears from what you were saying.
Right.
And I wasn't clear on really what you're saying. Is it we're not writing the codes well? You're not as council, making sure the codes are what should be adopted. Is it the enforcement of the codes after they're adopted? What is it that we're not doing well?
The best way I can explain is we don't legislate well. We don't, we aren't fixing the gaps in the code, the contradicting code. When we do code, it's, it's not, sometimes not well written. Specific examples. We just
Like the fence.
Well, that's why I was waiting for you to finish. I mean, that's our fault, because we
Right.
have been dealing with the fence for 9 months, and that's because we
Perfect
we
example.
have to change one word, or we don't we're a quarter of an inch off here, or stuff like that. That's our fault.
Yeah,
That's,
we don't legislate well, that's exactly what I'm trying
so
to say.
that's definitely city council's. I don't know if it's nitpicking, or not enough nitpicking, or, I don't know, but that's our fault.
So I'm still, I don't know what to write there.
I don't know either.
Well, we have committees that have their lanes. One of those is planning and zoning.
But they go to us, and then we make the final decision, and that's been done, and we can't make a final decision. I think that goes up to follow through and follow up.
Right.
I think that fits into that, because we're not following through and following up with what we're saying we're doing.
Right, but there's been.
We're beating a dead horse.
There's been long times between meetings in a lot of cases. Now, planning and zoning in the last probably 6 months have been more engaged than the whole time I've been in the city. So things are moving in the right direction, and I think we need to realize we got some victories there, and we need to encourage that. But there's other committees, if you will, that we need to probably leverage better, and I don't know whether that's us as a council or whether that's the city, to be able to make them more effective. You know, just like the Port Authority. They meet maybe once a year. But if this is something that, you know, as a council need to, you know,
Well, this
not,
is,
well, maybe the council's not providing the direction that they need.
I was just gonna, this is the turning point.
Right.
Yeah.
The turning point. I mean, we can continue to talk about the past and how
Right.
horrible things were, but now we can't go forward if we're looking behind us.
Right.
So we can't keep complaining about the past, we need to look forward and move in that direction, that's the way I feel. I think this is.
I think one of the best things that you can do is to answer, you know, that dialogue there is what you're doing right now.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, communities that set the goals are able then to go to their boards and commissions and say, here's our vision, here's what we want to do.
Right.
You know, now, you know, work within, you know, these guardrails to achieve success for us.
Because we've not given them rules, we've not given them a guideline, we've not given them a goal to go towards. We've just said, yeah, meet, and they go, okay, we'll do that whenever.
Right.
So,
So in that same context, we don't legislate well, we don't, it's difficult for us to find consensus, we don't necessarily look at things in the big picture. We're very micro-focused on some things.
The event, rather than
I don't think we put in the right amount of, I mean, we put in the time, obviously, but we have a hard time coming together and taking everything into consideration everybody says and formulating something that makes sense and is good for the community.
Let's break it up.
Yeah.
So look at the big picture and then form consensus.
Now, sometimes we form consensus really well, but it's kind of rare. When we hired you, we formed a good consensus.
I think it was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
but forming consensus, what do you mean, what does,
Not to make this personal or anything, but I just noticed as
That's one of the ground rules.
yeah, okay.
I just, do you mean like majority rules, or just, we all have differences of opinions and that's the way it is? I mean, that,
Yeah, we have a hard time coming together, taking everything into consideration, whether it be me or you or whoever's basically talking. It seems like we have a hard time gelling and
Coming to
coming
a
to a
consensus.
consensus conclusion. as
doesn't
opposed-
consensus mean like majority rules? I mean, like,
Well,
I mean, it's, consensus to me is a compromise. So, that doesn't mean I have to think like you or you have to think like me. We're allowed,
But
have-
we come to a mutual agreement. a
well, that's what we
compromise.
do when we vote. It's a consensus, we vote.
Well, no, that's an outcome, but
So let's talk about consensus for a second, because I think that's, you know, that is a different concept than the vote. You know, the vote, I think you said, is an outcome,
right,
but it's not necessarily the outcome of a consensus-based process.
majority.
Right. But at the same time, you know, as council, that is the way that you develop what is council consensus, right? I mean, the outcome speaks as consensus of council, which is, I mean, it seems counterintuitive because, you know, I think what you're saying is we have an issue. You know, we have to put a puzzle together. We have all the pieces, right? And from your perspective, you know, completing that puzzle means that you all put your pieces in there and it looks like a beautiful picture, right? The way that it ultimately ends up, though, in the process is that, well, you know, you may not have all the beautiful picture because the pieces that you have may not fit as well in the puzzle that you're doing. And so you look at it and say, well, it's not as beautiful as a picture because, you know, I had these other pieces that you just wouldn't accept. Right? I mean, is that?
Yeah, let me just make it clear.
We're not always gonna agree, and we don't want to always agree.
Absolutely not.
But as we have the discussions, what, I think in a perfect world, we all bring our ideas and things to the table, and at the end of the day, when we put something together, it's gonna change a little bit through the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts as one thing, and as we talk about it, we tweak it here, you bring up a good point, I bring up a good point, and we form that consensus, and at the end of the day, when we vote, ideally, we would all vote yes, because we've all hashed it together, and we've come up with something collectively that we, you know, may not be all of what I was looking for, may not be all what you were looking for, but as we coalesced around it, we've got some of the things from each one of us, and we put together a package that we all are happy with, and we would all say, yes, I'm behind that, because, you know, the concerns I brought forward was incorporated, the concerns that you brought forward, the concerns that you brought forward. It's a product of all. As opposed to
No,
just, here it
I
is,
don't
I
agree-
agree with it, I don't.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that scenario, because we are a group of 5, and we are going to bring different values and ideas to the table. And I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, or nor does that mean you're right or wrong. So I don't agree that we have to have all yeses, 5 yeses.
No, misunderstand me.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Ideally, as we talk about that, and we put something together, say we're putting a piece of code together.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, at first glance, 2 of us don't like it, 3 of do. Okay, well, how do we take the minority and include some of what their ideas are and make a package that everybody likes, right? Not necessarily that I totally agree with it, you totally agree with it, but, you know, if it's a very close decision, half and half almost, right? 2, 3, you know, it's one vote that passes it, so it could be a total horrible thing for the 2 and great for the 3, whereas if work it out a little bit more, this way we don't legislate well, if we should be able to bring all that together and compromise to a fact where, yeah, now we all agree on this version of this.
We'll go back to the fence, because and we did that for 9 months. We kept sending it back so that we could all try to come to some sort of a consensus agreement as to what the fence code was. And that's why we kept sending it back, I think, right? I mean, is that not what we did, right? We kept sending it back so that we could try to come up with an idea and that we could all live with.
Well, not only live with, but it was manageable from
The code guy.
in other words, you had to put something out there that he was gonna be able to.
Interpret and enforce,
Sure.
and clarity was everything on that, and still don't know. if we
Yeah,
can-
we don't have that.
But,
So I don't know, I kind of,
There's gonna be times where there's people who just staunch disagreement or whatever, but.
well, not so much staunch, it's we have different ideas, and that's why everybody voted for us, because we have different ideas, and we bring them to the table, and
Right, but
we're not all Stepford wives and
Yeah.
husbands, we're just individual thinkers, and that's what we're here for.
Right.
Would it be, to kind of wrap this up so we can keep moving
Oh,
forward?
sure.
Would it be enough to say at this point that you should have enough discussion that everyone feels heard in the debate?
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have that.
I think sometimes that is the best and highest that you can get out of the process we have. You know, going back to the fence, I've seen that other places as well, and I think as a resident watching that, you know, you want people to make decisions, and it appears that you're just not making a decision.
Right.
And again, that's why, you know, in the world of council, you know, you have that vote, because at some point, you know, Robert's rules, you know, let's call a vote, and an imperfect thing is better than the goal of perfection and never doing the thing. So that's a challenge, but I think it's something we need to work on, and like you said, it's a huge discussion that we could be here the rest of the night talking about. We don't get to actually getting goals up here to start talking about the future.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, maybe today, where that ends is we need to, at least get to, hearing everyone out and thinking about it, but let's not take 9 months to come to a conclusion on whatever it is.
Agreed. And this is not a unique problem here. I mean, it's
No.
at the very top. You got half and half.
Yeah.
We've come to a point in government that it's whoever's in the majority, that's what happens, as opposed to actually coming together and compromising. We need to do more of that, and especially here at our level where we're nonpartisan.
No, no,
It's
we absolutely have to compromise. We're not, none of us are gonna get 100% of what we want. That's not the goal here. It's not a dictatorship. This is 5 of us making decisions.
Okay. So what else are we doing well?
Outside of communicating with the residents, involving the residents with
Events or something like that.
not just that, all of the decisions that are made here, because it directly results in, or it directly affects them.
So in other words, try to get participate in these
Yes,
meetings.
get more people to city council meetings.
I'm good with that list.
Yeah.
Have pizza
We're
at
not-
the next- Have pizza at the next one.
We're not very proactive.
You guys vote on that one time?
Pizza once.
We spend more time reacting than we are,
Acting.
yeah, be more proactive, but we're not proactive.
When you mentioned legislate, way,
How do we participate with what's going on with our state? Is that something that we could do a better job engaging with our local legislative body and understand what the state of Florida has out there and how that would benefit our city as well? In other words, participate in that effort.
Listening to, it's not listening to the residents. I think that was, is that on here?
Yep,
Communication,
it was the first thing on there.
So you're asking how do we participate?
How does our city's needs, wants, desires translate to what's going on with the state of Florida? How do we ensure that we're communicating to them what our needs are so that we can
Leveraging.
participate in
Well,
it?
let me ask you right now. So your charter speaks how council makes, ultimately the voice of council, what that is. And the voice of council is the majority of council saying, this is what we as council believe. Again, it may not be everybody, but the majority says, this is what we believe as council. So with that in mind, what is it that the council has put out there that we can point to as staff to go to our legislators and say, this is what we need? Right? So if you were to go talk to one of the legislators today, what would you say is the needs of the city?
Golf cart crossing.
Infrastructure.
is there business opportunities there? Are there things that
We're not aware of.
I was just gonna say, I
Programs,
think the problem is, we answer that question because that answer comes from all of this vision. So I don't think we have a specific answer, tools or knowledge to answer that question quite yet, because that's what I think this vision and goal setting will clarify for us to be able to do that.
So-
That's my opinion.
Right, and that, so the mayor was in Tallahassee for the, what was it called here?
Florida City's Action Days.
Action Days,
Legislative
legislative
Action Days.
And you undoubtedly talked to other cities, right? They probably had maybe 3 or 4 things that they talked to everyone about. You know, those were the 3 things that came up as most important. But it was something that came out of either goal setting, the council meeting, saying this is what we believe. You know, when we submitted the projects for funding, you know, the challenge that I had was there were a lot of things, if again, if you refer to that list, that you could have, you know, picked one, right? But I know that I haven't talked to you guys about any of those things. So which ones do I choose?
Well, and also, you have to have some data to present, to ask for that too, which we have a lot of stuff here, but, you know, we weren't at any stage necessary to focus on that, so, you know, we went after what we had, so.
And so I guess that's, you know, I guess it's to be able to get to where we can be effective. You know, this process is key to that, because this starts developing, you know, when we interact, and the way that you interact with, you know, whether it's at the county level, state level, or the federal level, it's constant. You hit them constantly with the same things. So they know when they see you, yep, you know, stormwater management, I know what you need, you know, because we talked about it, and, you know, I had 5 people that called me about it, and now here's a city manager talking about it. And that's what we want to generate out of this, is developing those things that we can then start applying our resources that we have to achieve those goals. So, I don't know if this is the easy part or the hard part, or if that's the easy part or the hard part, getting, you know, the focus, but this is what we need to do. Okay, so we're good with the, you know, what we're not doing well, which, you know, 10, we're doing 7 things. I should have pushed you on the 8th one, sorry about that. But we're doing well. Let's take just a few minutes to take a break. Get up the stretch.
Okay.
Get a cookie.
Get a cookie.
Take 2.
That's it. Hey.
Well, this fruit. This fruit.
It's.
Keep my girlish feet.
Okay, that's one great. But
There you go.
you know,
hard copies, right? We'll have that. I just ask any questions or ask if you have any questions on anything that's on there. And to get an understanding if something is confusing or don't know what it is or. And hopefully for those that have been on council for a while, none of that looks too unfamiliar.
Well, the purchase policy amendments, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Purchasing dollar authority, probably.
So, yeah, I think there was some discussion, I don't know if it was at the council level or staff level, regarding that policy. I mean, one, we don't have a good written policy, so we need to get that corrected. I can't remember now, it escaped me.
Policy amendment? Purchase a policy amendment?
To our amendment to our policy, purchasing policy.
Oh. Well, buying a policy amendment. I didn't know what a policy amendment was. That's what I was confused. Oh, I got you.
very
Purchase
expensive.
policy amendments.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. I had the emphasis on the wrong spot. I got it now. Thanks. Sorry.
She's like, what are we buying now?
That's what I thought. Purchase a policy amendment. I didn't know why we were buying a policy amendment. I had no idea.
That's
I got it now.
we're
Sorry.
gonna offer on the timeshare.
You gotta sit for an hour before you get that timeshare.
That's what I kind of thought.
The CRA plan update.
Okay, so that's the community reinvestment area that, or agency that most of the city is. See, the formed in what, 2002, I think?
I think so.
2006. Okay. There's been a restatement of the plan, but it was never updated. So we have Inspire, and I think they were at the last CRA meeting, the week before that, and made a presentation on what they're going to be doing over the course of the next few months to get that updated.
Workshop on the 15th, I think, right?
February 15th is the workshop to try to get public input. You know, they've already done the technical memo, kind of giving an overview of where we're at today. I think they may be coming in the future to CRA to deliver that. I'm not sure what the form's going to be for that. And so you need that to be able really to spend money, because the state says, you know, show us a plan on how you're going to be spending that money. Good, okay. Okay, so we're gonna take 3 minutes. Again, write down, and then we'll talk about it later. What things that you believe are outside your control as city council are impacting the future of the city of Fort Ritchie? I don't know why you're laughing. Is it the fun of something, or?
Yeah. My brain's going.
3 minutes. Start.
Sure can.
Having
Tomorrow.
find anything else in their desk? Just want to make sure they're enough.
I have my answer. I don't have to write it down.
Is it the one you were laughing about, or?
No.
the team Jeopardy running around my head right now, so.
I could pull that up for the next question.
That would
Not help.
throw me off.
It's bad enough it's in my mind. I need to hear. Pens down. Okay, I'm interested. So what's yours?
I really don't think there's anything outside of our control if we all work together. So, that's maybe pie in the sky, but I don't think there's anything outside of our control. There's always a solution to a problem when everybody is, got the same goals, the same vision, you have to be in the same, but, same direction.
It's all dollar signs.
Yeah, along that, I put down the cost of construction engineering, it's basically the cost of what the stuff costs that we gotta do to make changes. We can't control that. I also had preemption and legislation that affects our ability to home rule comes up. It's somewhat in our control as we lobby to make sure that they don't do that, but there are times that we get preempted from being able to do the right things.
Along the same line, government regulations.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, we have some voice with legislation, but there's other things such as SWIFMUD, the Army Corps of Engineers that we don't have input in. So battling them on our ideas, you know, that's an obstacle.
I said, I have the same thing, like laws and regulations put forth by county, state, federal, so it's up there. Funding requests, not being able to, not being approved, which is up there. Hurricanes.
A good one. The weather.
Acts of God.
Emergency management. Rising water. I said staffing assignments.
How's that outside of control?
So it's outside of our control, but essentially we handle control through city manager control staff. But we're one step removed, we're not directly involved.
Nor should we be, that's why we hired her, right?
To a certain extent, perception is outside our control.
No, I don't agree with that. Our perception.
We do a lot to change that.
We have control over how we're perceived and how we act.
To a certain degree, you have to agree with that, but there's a saying, perception is reality.
Correct.
Which I don't believe that. Perception is the way the person, that's that person's reality, doesn't mean it's the reality. So, you know, no matter what we do, there's still gonna be people that probably view us alternatively. Even though we've made great strides, they still, Port Richey, the bad stuff is hard to go away. Make sense? No matter how much good you do, sometimes perception precedes us.
Well, you know, one bad thing takes a million attaboys to change.
Right.
So,
That's why I'm saying it's somewhat out of our control, because history has not been the greatest.
no, it has not.
So we have that perception out there to overcome. Not that we can't do it, but it's somewhat out of our control. we may never be able
But I
to
think
change.
I think we're getting there.
Oh, I agree. No.
We're totally moving forward.
Come a long way.
So is it perception of the history?
Oh, we can just say the history out of our control, because it's already happened, right? We can't change that, we can only change what the future is.
Right, does that,
Maybe that's a better way to put it.
does the history weigh on our ability to move forward? And that's what's out of our control, is we've got to change the perception. Right. Changing the perception.
Yeah, the history of past, that's outside of our control. We get time at the end, we'll come back to that one.
Okay, again, I think as we go through this, we might go back and say, well, we should have added something there. So, you feel there's anything else out of your control?
What do you think's out of our control?
That's not the game we're playing.
Give us a hint.
Can you give us a hint?
Sounds like. No, I just want to make sure that you've exhausted that, you're not exhausted, but you've exhausted that conversation. You don't believe that, though? I do believe that. Should be.
No, I mean, and only because there are factors that, no matter how hard we work together, there's some things that are outside. Hurricane's an example. No matter what we do to prepare, a major hurricane comes through here,
But how you deal with it?
hey, deal with it, right, but there's certain things that are out of control
We can't stop
that
it.
we can't, no matter how well we prepare, you know,
Well, I kind of didn't view this as what I can't control God, that's kind of controlling, so I didn't view that
Right.
exercise.
Well,
as that. I viewed that as what is out of our control is that, what can we, you know, what I mean, like, not as, there's lots of things we can't control. I mean,
For-
we can make that list go way down, but.
I mean, the lion's share, there's very little that are really outside of our control. But there are things, so, no, I agree with you for the most part. Like I said, there are some things that we can't control.
I'm living on pie in the sky. There's nothing we can't control. I'm gonna stay that, sorry.
No, I'm good.
I found that when you said it was interesting, I wanted to write it down.
No matter how well we prepare.
Yeah. What's the end of that sentence?
I have two words. Shit happens. I mean, there's,
So, well, let me ask you this, going back to doing well or not doing well. Do you think we prepare well?
Sometimes.
In the past, I don't think so, no. In the past. But looking forward, that's what we're doing. We're going to be prepared to the best of our ability. Of course, we're gonna miss stuff, you know, we're humans and things are gonna fall through the cracks, unfortunately, not that you want them to. But, the past, no, we weren't prepared. The future, that's what this is about, is being prepared for the future. The line in the sand, and we've crossed it.
Okay. So the last question for today, the longest discussion, is this question. In 2026, Fort Ritchie will be known as a city that, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write down what are we going to be known as. Now, let me try to guide you.
Mouth of the Cody River.
What's that?
Mouth of the Cody River.
Guidance on this one is, this is where I want you to start thinking, maybe not specifically about projects, maybe generally about projects. I know it's going to dip into specifics, but think what you want the city to be known for in 2026. It's 2 years away, a little less than 2 years now. 5 minutes. No, it's already started thinking.
Stones or something. Dark side of the moon.
Does anybody need more time? Feel free, I mean, we have a few extras I can say. I said, to be successful, we need you to think when you leave that you've got all your ideas out, at least for this night.
What's your, what's that say? Is that German?
Sifnas. No, it's actually Scotch Gaelic.
What's
I
that?
found it, so.
What does it mean?
It means peace and tranquility. I found it on a ruin in Scotland.
Cool. So before we go into this, so my thinking on this and kind of happening parallel to this is I'm working with staff, and we're going to be doing something similar to this. And we actually already started looking at our organization, and through that process, they've come up with 10 things that they think can make the organization better.
Good.
And so we're going to be working through those, but also some of the same questions I'm asking you, we're going to be working through. And so when we get back together on the 20th, we're going to sit down and do a little comparison to begin with, so you can kind of see their point of view versus what you're thinking. And then we're going to work together on kind of finalizing what ultimately should we be doing as a community. Now, we all understand in the end, it's your goals that we have to do. But I think it's good, and I've used it in other communities, to get the department directors to get involved in that process. Because if they hear it directly from you, it's easier for me to convey the meaning of what those words mean. And so we're going to get back together. They're excited. They wanted to stay tonight. I think they all wanted to be here for this. But I said, no, go home, relax. There's a time for it. So,
That's a great idea. Being able to hear what the employees, how they feel, and what your vision is.
so let me say one of the things in the top 10. We'll share all the top 10 tonight with you. But one of, and I think probably in the top 5, was council having a vision for the city. So it's interesting how in some of their responses that it wasn't, it was thinking outward rather than thinking inward. And so again, it kind of goes back to, what your thoughts are about them. They are there thinking about how best to improve the services that they deliver to the residents.
Just shows what shining stars they truly are.
So with that being said, in 2026, Port Richard will be known as a city that did what, is what.
Transformed.
We'll get back to that, what it means. Right now, it's not about discussion, it's about getting ideas out.
The little city that could. Oh, so what? That could. It did.
I said a great place to live and relax.
And I had a couple that went along with that. Let's see, everyone wants to live, everyone wants to visit.
A city that listens to and provides to the best of its ability for its citizens and also incorporates what the citizens feel or need. That's all.
Can we maybe make it?
Yeah.
I said, I, on the same lines, I said that we care for our citizens and residents.
Yep.
Yeah, I did too.
So it's
Listen
kind, so
and
it's kind of,
provide.
what you said, it
Yeah,
kind of incorporates that, yeah.
What was yours?
We care for our citizens and residents.
Listens to residents, cares for.
Provides
Residents, yeah.
Listen, cares, and provides for residents.
Has the best community relationship, which is kind of in the same line. Community spirit, same thing.
council had, is a city that sets the standard, model
Excellent.
city.
A good standard.
Yeah, sets a good standard. We set some standard before.
How about has the best waterfront?
And to that one, the city with the most native fauna at its waterfront. Not a lot of cities.
And wildlife.
Hmm?
And wildlife.
Yes.
An osprey snatching fish out of the canal.
Not bad.
What is fauna?
Flower, or plants.
Plants,
Oh.
like, yeah, what they said,
That's a new one.
Flowers, pretty flowers.
yeah.
As
Flowers,
a shaker in a mover.
I like that. To that effect, I wrote blooming.
I had a couple go along with that too, actually. From the old UPS slogan, moves at the speed of business.
How about the city that is a bridge builder with the community?
Man, we're doing good.
The cleanest city.
I like it.
That could go not only with like trash and et cetera, but also eco-friendly too.
Did you want to break that up?
Eco-
Three of those are
Yeah.
eco-friendly.
Yeah, eco-friendly city.
Never stops improving.
City that attracts tourists.
A city that everybody knows your name.
I was going with that doesn't sleep, so don't even.
I was, when I read that, it just came to mind, the
The
New
first
York
thing
slow,
City
city
that
never
never
sleeps.
That's-
City
that's-
never
that's-
sleeps. City never
that's-
sleeps.
How about a very friendly city?
Yes. Open doors is what I wrote. City that has open doors. Family friendly.
Yeah, family, there you go. Just put the family in there.
Tranquil.
Hey, you got some?
All that in 2 short years.
Why not?
That's like over 21, so you have to go ahead, let's go to 22.
They say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, so
That's
we're
right.
here to take some steps.
That's right.
The city that has the strongest business community.
That's good.
I don't know, city with lots of outdoor child activities.
Good parks, best parks.
That's what I wrote too.
Yeah, I wrote
Best city
best
parks.
Stop writing numbers down.
Has to be even.
On my phone, she went on.
Dreaming big. Dreaming big.
Known
Dreams
as a
big.
city that dreams big.
I like little city that dreams big.
A little city that dreams big. How about completes our projects?
I don't think I want that to be on my logo. Finishes. Are we on?
Yes.
Oh, finishes stuff. That, I don't think I want that on there.
That's why I said the little city that could.
Right. Go, you do you.
Well,
Mr.
25 is a
Coppola.
good way to stop too. I mean,
The
25 is
city
nice.
with the best
number.
schools.
We don't have schools.
We don't have schools.
schools?
Not in Port Richey?
No,
The
it's,
city with schools.
Where you want to, where would you like to put them?
I don't know.
We could build a raft.
Yeah,
A water
city with a floating school.
Yeah.
There you go.
The city that works hard to ensure the safety and well-being of its citizens. That's not up to
how about we know that the city is the city that responds to its residents? Which is,
But but see, we do already, don't we, Bill? I think,
yeah, but we want to be known as that. Is somebody standing on the table saying, look at what we're doing here?
okay.
Do we need to toot our own horn? Bang our own drum? But we're gonna get there.
He can be annoying sometimes, can't he?
Again, I can't have on the number.
Well, 25 is actually,
Go ahead, Dave, fix that one.
Just one more. Okay. 100.
No, a city that has made it to 100 years.
That's right. 100
years, it's still 100.
Finished with a bang. Not finished, no, that's not right. Celebrate it with a bang, something.
So yeah, it's on track for its next centennial.
Bicentennial, somebody say.
There you go.
26, is that good?
Yep.
Nice restaurant.
Okay. So let's talk transformed. Was that you, transformed? What do you mean by transformed?
Well, it encompasses a lot of these, I'll say, things, but basically that we've transformed into what we aren't for. Turned the page and we're doing all these other things. So that was just more of a generic
Okay.
reference.
Let's make it specific.
Finished what we started. No?
I mean, and here's, I think the problem that I see with the word transformed is transformed into what? Transform good, transform bad. Yeah. Because we can achieve the goal of transforming.
yeah.
But what you like, what have you transformed into?
Yeah. See your point.
No.
He was thinking, obviously, I don't think you were thinking the pad, you were thinking
Yeah,
forward.
Yeah, transformed into the model city that, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
That's good.
Transformed to the positive. I don't know, I'm trying to think of a word
You,
here.
you said model.
model city, that's what I put down.
I know there's some shaking the head back there. Model. Okay.
Admired, model, yes, however you want to say it. We're at that.
Just trying to find other, I mean, is there anything here that seems kind of vague to you? That's what I'm trying to get. Booming.
Booming.
Yeah, what does booming mean?
It's like growing, growth. maybe?
Yeah, is it?
On the,
I'm just looking at the 4th of July here.
Got more jobs, more families moving here, therefore more kids.
place where people want to move to, be a part of.
Specifically the.
So economically,
Driving.
Sound. economic.
again, I just want these to be, if I show this to one of our department directors, I want them to immediately know what you mean. residents, they'll look at it and say, okay, I understand that. May not agree with it, but I understand it. So economically thriving, booming.
Mhm.
Again, it's still some day, very growing.
You know,
Okay.
Growing, thriving, all that.
developing.
Shaker and mover. Not sitting still or. Always correct, very good. Continuously improving, and
I like that.
we got to continue to improve it going forward.
Yeah, you do have that over there.
Press an envelope.
Let's kind of bring it double that.
Well, we just defined it as,
Right.
but I just want to see if it is something different. I mean, would you all
Not
agree
so-
that it's the same, or is it different?
A shaker and a mover in a city is also like,
A leader, maybe.
yeah,
Somebody that's setting the trail, blazing the trail.
trailblazer.
So is that, we're not sitting still at all,
We're engaged.
always,
Yeah.
and trying to better ourselves going forward.
I mean, I think you're right. Continues improving.
I think a couple, like the
But he's-
shaker, the mover, dreams big, the continuous improvement, they all kind of,
Flow together.
yeah, they kind of all meshed together.
Okay.
It's,
So let's go with that. Let's think that way. I'm gonna put 10, 10 over there. Okay. You said dreams big.
mhm.
Because what the next step is to get you to define what these things really mean. I mean, first, let's make sure we have the words right, and then we'll define a little bit about what these are. Again, not in necessarily specific terms, but in somewhat general / specific terms. Cleanest city. What do you
So-
mean by that?
That there's not a problem with trash on the roadways and the sidewalks, that the sidewalks are, cleared and easy for
No
citizens.
snow.
Yeah.
I'm just used to that.
Well,
Usually, one of these, where I come from, there's something about snow removal.
could that be
Yeah.
combined with
First time you didn't have that one on the
well?
list.
No, because they're kind of different. Eco-friendly and clean are two different.
Yeah.
Correct.
See, I would start tying that again, because that's why I want to be kind of specific, because I'll take these back, and we'll get together again, I'm going to kind of tier them together in common themes. And I kind of took the eco-friendly with native fauna and wildlife.
Yeah. What about the parks? Could that be part of that as well?
Do you think there's a lot of trash in the city?
On the side of the road. Like when you go and you walk down the street and stuff.
There's a mattress right across from the Chamber of Commerce still, been there for 2 months, I think.
Anybody
They
sleep?
get tired. They have to take a little nap.
Right.
You report?
Huh?
You report?
No, I'm
No,
putting
he
you
just
on-
looks at it.
Putting you on a test.
Now you've,
See how long it takes.
reported
See how long it takes.
Don't count.
We're counting the days.
Well, it's
Where it shows up.
obviously, it's not the city's property, it's somebody's, somebody needs to be, I don't know if there's code enforcement out there or not, but.
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
as far as the cleanest city too, like sometimes like the sidewalks and stuff are overgrown and there's not places really. I've seen women carry baby carriages that go around onto the road. And that just seems unsafe.
I think you could put 18 and 19 together. Very
Right.
friendly city and family
Yeah,
friendly. That can be definitely together.
Is that tranquil? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to spell that right.
You squiggled that in quite well.
They wanted me to be a doctor, but, you know, all I got was their handwriting.
Outdoor activities, could that be grouped into the family thing too?
No.
And the parks?
Well, not all outdoor activities for children are at parks.
Sure.
Live and relax and tranquil could be together, probably.
Yeah. Live and relax.
3 and
20. 20 and 3. What about everyone wants to live in, what's that word? Would that also fit into the same? Relax, everyone wants to live and visit.
5 and 6 belong together too.
Everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
So would you agree that?
What does number 25 say, city what?
Ensure
Ensure
safety.
Ensure
safety
safety,
of
okay,
residents.
ensures, okay.
Or it's take 2 pills 24 hours
Yeah.
apart.
So moves at the speed of business, that's the way you respond. Isn't there one up there about that?
So 9, we agree 9 and 15 belong together?
Yes.
I don't think there's another one like that, do you?
Huh?
I don't see another one like that.
That's the way you respond.
Yeah, I don't see anything else along those lines.
Well, does that fall into one? We're transforming, but we want to respond, move at the speed of business. Isn't that the way we're kind of transforming? To a model city, we want to respond well to our.
Well, the model city encompasses a lot more than just
Yeah.
a response, so, right? So-
Yeah, well, that's, again, I think we need to get a little bit more
Define what a
clarity.
model city
Yeah, I mean, is
looks
it,
like, yeah.
is it in the codes? Is it in the services we provide?
Everything.
Everything.
You
Codes.
can't be a model city if you're missing part of the whole.
We need to define what a model city is then, at some point.
Well, we will.
Does best waterfront fit in with the wildlife and the,
No,
where did you put that, 9?
because waterfront is business.
Well, let's talk about, since we're talking about waterfront, let's talk about waterfront.
Okay.
I don't consider waterfront business.
I'm thinking of Cody River Landing, the waterfront area, the business district, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, is waterfront to you a specific location, or is it all the waterfronts? Because you have a lot of waterfront.
Oh, a lot not all, a lot of our waterfront is privately owned.
Mm-hmm.
We have no control over that to a degree. I mean, you know, you have certain, but a lot of that is beyond our control. When whoever said that waterfront, I automatically went to the place where everyone,
We don't
Can
control,
go.
we don't really
You went
control
to
that
business.
either.
I went to the business area where anybody can come from.
Right.
You can come from Alaska, you go there. I can't go to Alaska and go to his house. You know what I mean? So
But-
I was kind of going to,
But anybody with a boat can float in anybody's backyard. So the waterfront does have access around. So our whole, and I was the one that mentioned waterfront, is we want to have good water,
well, okay.
and we
The
don't.
water is different than the waterfront. Waterfront is where the water and the land meet, no?
That's true. Yeah, you don't have anything up here about water quality.
Yeah, so I was thinking,
Okay.
that's what I was thinking, is when you said waterfront. Yeah, we need to have the good water, we need to have, so we can support the fish and the wildlife, absolutely.
Right,
I
right.
totally agree with that.
It has the best quality water. That's what you,
And as a fisherman, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, right, we have different views on the same thing, and it needs to be all encompassing. Our whole waterfront, and that goes outside, on the outside, to the river, the bays, and the canals, and the waterfront area, waterfront district, Cody River Lane, all of that needs to be looked at, and we need to be known for it.
Bridge builders and community fits in with 5 and 6. This is
13.
13.
13?
Yeah.
It's in item 6. Does best water quality fit in with 15 and 9?
Yes, I
Yes.
think so.
Potential.
Yes.
What do you mean by little city that could? I know that's a Thomas the Tank Engine reference, but.
It is. In other words, we've tried so hard to do things and have not succeeded. My vision would be is to have the city accomplish whatever. it is.
accomplished its goals.
Right.
Finish something,
Yes.
anything.
They just finished the park down there with the dolphins.
Yeah, I saw that. I
That's
shared
good.
it on the chamber page.
Baby steps, right?
Winslow?
Absolutely.
Winslow
Winslow.
Park.
Everyone wants to live and visit. Could that also go with, that's number 4, could that also go with number 17, attract tourists? Potentially?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think so.
Yes, those are the visitors.
Yeah. What is it? 3, live and relax, also fit into that same group of.
Yeah.
Action
3.
words, 3, 4, and
4, yeah.
17. Strong business.
Actually, I think number 1 and number 7 are similar too. Set standard for area and also transform into a model
Yeah.
city.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. They were both mine. I agree, that's what I was saying, twice. In different words.
What about strong business community? Does that fit in with 11 and 12?
I think that fits in with 11 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the city moving at the speed of business.
But
What
I
did you
think,
mean? Did you mean forward related, that we move, we make things happen quicker? Or is it?
The city, the government, that we move at the speed of business. We don't move at the speed of government. Government's slow.
So yes, there's
Business
different
fast.
things.
but is that part of the model city we want to become? And in our definition, we want to move faster than government.
Well, it would be a part of
Well,
that, yeah.
Can I ask a question? How can we do that if we are government? We've got to do things a certain way? I mean, like, we have rules that are set to us by county, state, and federal. We can't move faster than those, can we? Unless you want to break the law and you want to go to jail.
No.
There's lots of ways to do the same thing, and there's a fast way and maybe a way that isn't as fast. So is there a way that we, in transforming to become a model city, try to look at ways and manage things in a way that we can get things through the process faster.
Yeah, streamline processes, stuff like that. You still have the process. There's still 2 readings to get an ordinance passed. I mean, there's natural things that are built in, have to follow, but getting to those point, and I'll throw something out there. The Congress property, at least 2-3 years in the making to get it to the point where that's not moving at the speed of
What
business.
Congress property?
Matt Todd's property,
Oh.
about the RV PUD thing, that's an example of something that's,
Got snowed up.
Yeah.
it's just, never went anywhere, because it wasn't, it wasn't going through the process, there was no process, I mean, so,
No, though there was a process. He had to get zoning change. We don't do the zoning change.
Right.
They have to do that. So if he put that in 2 years ago, then that's our problem. If he just put that zoning change in and we worked on that, that's not our issue.
he's been engaging with the city on that particular issue.
Engaging and putting in the proper paperwork to do a zoning change are 2 different things.
There's some gaps there, let's say that. And so we weren't moving at the speed of business with that. Now, not to say there wasn't some fault on his end as well, but
Okay. So going back to the original 11 and 21 go together?
I believe so.
Moving economically thriving, growing, and strongest business community.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. And then to your point about the who's the speed of
12
business,
and
do you
1.
want to go 12 and 1?
not really, because I think they're,
I think they're different too.
I mean, a model city would move at speed, but
it would function
Well,
good, but it's
that's,
separate.
yeah, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, Model City would listen to residents. Model City encompasses everything,
Right.
but it's just taking all those individual parts and saying, this is put them all together and we're a model city.
So when you think about what we're doing right now is kind of setting for the next phase, right? Because the next phase, I'm going to be asking you as well as staff, okay, how do we become a model city? All right. So, it very well could be, what does it mean to move at the speed of business? What can be done to, make the organization move fast? Should it take 9 months to do a fence code? Right?
Right.
No.
At least a year.
Well, fence code.
No offense.
So that's why I'm trying to get these down maybe to a manageable number where things are similar and they come, they can be a part of what we're trying to accomplish in those goals over the next 2 years. Ostensibly, if we get down to 10, 12 here that we're talking about, I think it makes it easier to get us to the next step and be able to get through that process.
We're pretty close to that. Right. Looking at what we combined,
I think Shaker Mover could go along with booming too. Or, because I mean, that's kind of like, they're similar. It's booming, you shake it in.
you could lump in maybe 10 or 12.
Yeah, I think they're good. Definitely good.
So 10 and 12.
What do you think, Tom, that moving shaker was yours?
That would, yeah, it would apply. Segue, or 11 in there as well.
Well, to me, 11 is,
11 we've tied to the business.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So 10 and 12, I think we can throw together.
25, city involves safety of residents, could that be?
Insurance.
Shores.
Casino insurance,
Okay.
or it's take two from me in the morning.
Could that flow into the outdoor activities, the safety aspect there,
No,
and parks?
What I meant with that was more like police, fire,
Sidewalks,
hurricane.
you mentioned sidewalks,
Yeah, I mean, there's
just overall safety.
Yeah, safety's
Have
in
a safe community.
safety's in a
Yeah,
category of its
no,
own.
no drug panhandling, none of that, you know, all that stuff that goes, you know, low crime, all that.
that's the.
Good fire and police response. Actually had that on this.
So 18 and 19, where it talks about very friendly city, family friendly. So we've tied those together. So how would you define a friendly city? What are the, what makes a city a friendly city?
Easy to do business with.
Right.
See, that's the business side of it. I'm not in the business side of it, so as a mom or, I'm not gonna go to Orlando as a friendly city, or pick a city, Crystal River as a business, so I was looking at it from a resident, why do I wanna go there as a friendly city?
Right.
I think
Yeah.
resident and business are two different roads on that. So I guess,
Yeah,
so I guess we were saying the same
You're-
thing, but I'm going,
Well, not just that, I mean, that's just one aspect.
right,
When you walk down the streets, people say hi to you
Yeah.
and ask you how you been, and, I mean, there's all
Know your-
kind of aspects
know
to a
your
friendly
neighbors.
city.
but how do you accomplish that? I think it's your question.
Right.
And
Community outreach. I mean, I feel like, because you said the very friendly city, and I think that, and I said family friendly, they do kind of tie in.
Having resources like parks and things to do.
right. That's what I see as
Yeah.
my idea of a friendly city and family friendly are tied in one. Businesses have their own set of rules and guidelines.
Well, I'm talking about businesses, when I say the city's easy to do business with, if I need a permit, if I need,
They guide you down the right
if my cat's stuck in a tree, it's just easy to, we're all easy to
Working
get along
toward the
with.
same effort.
There's a business aspect of a city, the government actually has services it provides, and the city becomes more friendly as those services are easy to procure. They're, like, I can call Matt and say, hey, got something going on here, boom, I got somebody at my door. This is our police, very friendly police department, right? Because, the minute response time, they're there.
Mhm.
So we get some things that we do very well, other things we do very poorly. And so from the city perspective, as we do business better, easy to do business, that just adds to the friendliness of the city, because people aren't mad at the city because they had such a hard time getting a permit, and so they're complaining about us in the streets, as opposed to going to see, and they're just glad to be here, man, this is the best place in the world. Things are easy to get accomplished, they're keeping taxes low, I mean, it's all kind of
So
plays
is that,
into that.
so in my mind, I hear what I'm hearing is two different things. What you're saying more goes to transform the model city. I mean, you're kind of laying out what your vision of a model city is, right?
But that model city includes residents.
They're just, it's not just the government portion of it, it's actually the people are happy to be here, they walk down, they see the byproducts of what the government's help provide, clean water, good services, I mean, it's
For a couple seconds.
Okay, so think of it, again, the next step is how do we take a statement saying we want to transform to a model city and put it into objectives, right? We need to do the following to be a model city, which you kind of spelled out in your mind what a model city is, which leads to the steps. I'm thinking the very friendly city, the family friendly piece. They're looking, I would interpret that as saying, okay, what does the city need to do? What programs does it need to offer? What amenities does it need to have to be considered family, to create the atmosphere for people to be friendly, right? An element of was it you? I can't remember now who said it, as you walk down the street, they say hi. Well, you're more likely to say hi to someone you know and like. You can't really get to know a person if there aren't opportunities for them to get together, right?
Right.
What a lot of cities have been struggling with is that they've been changing in terms of who the residents are, right? And so the residents are maybe coming in from large cities, and they have a very busy lifestyle. They wake up at 6 a.m., they go to work, they get back at 8 p.m., and they go to bed, they wake up at 6 a.m. On the weekends, they want to go out, get on a kayak and go as far away from everyone as possible. Or, hey, we have this friendly get-together in the neighborhood for residents to get together to talk, right? And to me, it's an element of what a model city would be, because it'd be a city that, provides those opportunities for residents to do things, where this is really talking to me, what are those things that as a model city, we want to achieve or offer to the residents?
I think, number one, take the number one way. Everything from 2 to 27 is what defines transform to a model city. You're trying to get a definition for model city, and I think the definition is in 2 to 27.
I agree with that, yeah.
So,
That's my opinion.
That's exactly right. I like that. We've already laid out the vision now, right? Transform to a model city, which is made up of all of these different elements.
Right. That's plus, and how to get there, the roadmap is all this other stuff.
If
That's
we're going that route, then we need to include the golf cart crossing on 19.
Known as a city that has a golf cart crossing on 19.
No, but all that is being responsive to
the community needs.
is that.
So it's just like that need was presented, we're moving forward with that action.
maybe.
And,
We don't know we're gonna get it.
well, the point is I think that needs to be priority one, for example. If we heard and are responsive to the community, that should be something we ought to listen to, and you're right, we're moving forward with getting all the facts, and then based upon those facts, they'll come to a situation that we need to make a decision to,
We're gonna still be at their mercy, so
Of
hopefully,
course,
unfortunately. Unfortunately.
But the point is that's a good one.
It is.
We gotta listen to the community, and that's what the community wants, that's a priority. of the community.
Absolutely.
I hear that from everybody.
Absolutely.
That's a good point, everything from 2 to 27. That is.
That wraps up our definition.
Yes.
That is your
Encompasses
definition.
that. And this is what makes us a model city, or makes us a good city, or a center of excellence there, if you will.
Correct. Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to add to this?
So you're building a mission statement, which you've gotta have the vision.
Absolutely. That's the whole point.
Okay, so I said 8:30. We could go longer if you want to talk, but I think we got to a point where we can easily pick up at the next meeting and start talking about objectives. If you don't mind, I may have a little bit of editorial freedom with this, if you don't mind.
Well, please.
Do your magic. Well, it's not gonna be too much, because I think the magic's already there. It's just maybe put in different words, so it sounds a little more magical.
We're a little pixie dust.
Yes. But, you know, kind of recapping tonight, before we say goodbye. So, you know, we talked about, you know, what it means to be the best community. And as we go back, you see these in writing, hopefully by the end of the week, I'll have it all out to you. You know, I want you to start thinking about that as it relates to the mission statement now that we have is transform to a model city and all these different things. You know, thinking about what are we doing well and what are we doing well? Because what we want to do is those things we're doing really good, we want to nurture them. We want them to grow. You know, if employees are the, you know, they're trying very hard, they're the strongest attributes, we do need to think throughout all these, you know, objectives that we're going to be laying out, how do we nurture them so they're, you know, seriously that you know, strongest attribute to achieve the goals.
Yes, we have to take care of our staff, because they take care of us.
Also, as we get together and think about the things you feel are out of your control, because a lot of the things that we're going to be doing are going to be impacted by state and federal legislation, right? In regulation. There's no way that we move forward in most of the things that we need to do without understanding that that's going to be impacting us. But, you know, again, I don't know who's telling us, but, you know, working together, you know, nothing's out of our control. And I think that goes back to why, you know, we haven't done the follow through, because you start looking at these big ideas and there's a lot of headwind against them, and it's just like, well, how do we do it? Right?
Anything we do, we can undo. Even if we make a decision and it's wrong, we can change it. And not making a decision is making a decision to stay stagnant, and that's where we have been. We've made a decision not to make a decision, and we've been stagnant. I personally would rather make a decision and have it be wrong and then go back and change it and adjust it than do nothing, because that's how we learn. We learn by our mistakes as well as our successes. So we need to continue to power forward and do it, and then adjust. Nothing is going to be perfect right out of the gate. Nothing. We can adjust. We're allowed to. That's my opinion.
We have no plan now. We've got the framework for something that could be very good.
It will be very good.
Transformative.
It could be transformative.
I love it.
He's not gonna let that one down.
Turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, so I got your aid that you needed so desperately over there, and that's that what we're doing well is we're creating our vision for the future.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I can sleep better now.
So,
Great meeting, good stuff. This is long time overdue, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be a part of it. Happy to be all a part of it. Any comments?
Very good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.